Senator from Louisiana.
Madam President, I rise, as I have before, to explain the urgent need to pass a supplemental disaster assistance bill. But this time it is not just for Hurricane Laura, which hit southwest Louisiana over a year ago. It now includes Hurricane Ida, the fifth most powerful storm to hit the United States, which hit southeast Louisiana last month. And here, for example, is some of the flooding that was related to Hurricane Ida. I should point out, by the way, that this was not considered a flood event. Well, if it's not considered a flood event, that looks like pretty bad flooding. This was considered a wind event. And so even when it's not considered a flood event, you see almost this entire community flooded. So I guess my statement, Madam President, is we can't afford, we should not allow the impact of an entire year, now almost 2 years, set of natural disasters go unaddressed for fellow Americans. I mentioned it's over a year since Hurricane Laura wreaked havoc on Lake Charles. We're only a couple weeks shy of the 1-year anniversary of Hurricane Delta, a Category 2 storm that followed on almost the exact same track to hit southwest Louisiana. Those who were trying to recover, once again, subjected to tremendous rains with flooding. And then Hurricane Ida. But before I go to Ida, let me also point out, there are also unprecedented winter storms which unleashed catastrophic damage to livestock, crops, and buildings for Louisiana farmers. The same storms that got more publicity in Texas hit us as well. And then Ida and Tropical Storm Nicholas. In light of these storms, I must speak about the National Flood Insurance Program, or NFIP, which is set to roll out Risk Rating 2.0 in October 1st, while many policyholders are still recovering from hurricane damage. FEMA said, Risk Rating 2.0, FEMA said policyholders were supposed to be able to get the information of what their new premiums would be by August the 1st. FEMA missed that deadline. They only recently made the information available, less than 1 month with advance notice. But despite the lack of transparency, we know Risk Rating 2.0 will increase cost. In Louisiana, 80% of policyholders will see increases in the first year. For some, premiums may become unaffordable and could collapse the value of their home. Now, these aren't rich people. The criticism of the program is that some rich person with a home on the beach gets subsidized flood insurance. That's not true. These are middle-income families and working families, whom the president, by the way, pledged not to increase the cost on those earning less than $400,000 a year. These folks don't make $400,000 a year. They make far less. They have a hard time paying their gasoline bill or their food bill with the inflation we've had recently. And now they're about to be socked with Risk Rating 2.0. By the way, Congress never passed a bill requiring that FEMA implement this. President Biden can stop it. He alone is responsible. He should ask FEMA to delay implementation of Risk Rating 2.0 or reconsider altogether. At the end of the day, flood insurance must be affordable for the homeowner, accessible for the homeowner, accountable to the taxpayer, and sustainable. I proposed with Senator Menendez, and before Senator Menendez, Senator Gillibrand, reforms to accomplish that. We can achieve that, but Risk Rating 2.0 is not the way to do so. It is time for Congress to conduct thorough oversight. And of course I represent the people of Louisiana, but I can speak of any place in the nation which is flooded. Speaking for the people of Louisiana, but for all those fellow Americans who flooded, when you flood, you've been pounded. And my job is to help my fellow Americans, no matter where she or he lives, to get back on their feet. And right now I speak to the people of Louisiana. It is my commitment to you to attempt to do so. And we're strong, we're resilient. I drove through South Louisiana. There were people cleaning up their house by taking waterlogged beds out, but they gave a thumbs up when you went by. They are resilient. We are resilient people. On the other hand, when you see on a map of power outage and we're 4 weeks out and there's still people who don't have power back, and this is the United States of America, they don't have homes and they don't have electricity to their home, they can't run the refrigerator, their home's probably destroyed. It is a tough situation. So I asked my colleagues to pass a clean, separate disaster assistance bill. The formal request from the White House includes $2.3 billion for the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Program, $275 million for the Emergency Watershed Protection Program, $9 billion for the Wildlife and Hurricane Indemnity Program, $100 million for reclamation projects to address western drought, and $2.6 billion for the Federal Highway Emergency Relief. This request includes initial, though informal, estimates of what may also be needed from damage inflicted by Hurricane Ida. Specifically, they expect the cost and needs stemming from Ida to likely exceed an additional $10 billion in the form of CDBG, disaster relief, Federal Highway Emergency Relief, Federal Transit Emergency Relief, Small Business Administration disaster loans, and the Disaster Relief Fund, among other programs. And of course, this is not just to benefit our fellow Americans in Louisiana, but also those in the Northeast. More people died in the Northeast related to Hurricane Ida than died in Louisiana. So this is not just for my state, it is for our country. Different regions, different neighborhoods, but all fellow Americans. So I ask that we pass this bill for the people of Lake Charles, pass this bill for the people of Terrebonne and Lafourche parishes in southeast Louisiana, pass the bill for the people impacted by Ida in the Northeast, and pass the bill for the people impacted by wildfires in the West. It's really simple. Let's not let politics hold up a supplemental disaster relief bill, or put differently, let's don't leverage the pain of our fellow Americans in a political game. Pass the disaster relief bill.